This is your WW3 news of a Thursday afternoon. This is breaking news, and plus I had suspected of some type of involvement of a third party in this Middle Eastern war. You know, America and Israel and Iran. Let's be honest. Iran is having the upper hand on the Israelis and Americans. Extraordinary capacity to launch drones and missiles wave after wave. You know, they seem to estimate this country like Iran, like another Iraq or Syria or whatever. It's not. They're mistaken. In this extraordinary position, the use of ordnance and timing and accuracy as positioning to hit the targets is incredible. The fact is, due to sanctions, which has been lasting over 40 years on Iran, they didn't have access to that type of technology. Officially, no. It seems like there's a third party has joined in as well with the Russians and Chinese, with the Chinese supplying them state-of-the-art defense systems, radar and so on, and the Russians supplying them with precise intel, access to high-definition satellites in real time. How they could hit hard Israel, American assets in the Middle East. You could have said, well, they could have done it the first time 9 months ago. But it seems like they were waiting for the moment to strike back, and they knew the Americans was going to strike back in a certain way. So they profited this situation, and they launched just about everything which they had got in their arsenals. So far, they hadn't used all the old stuff. We're beginning to see more newer, more evolved, more deadly drones and missiles. Don't forget, Iran's got the hypersonic missile technology. America has the Dark Eagle one, but not vectors which travel around about Mach 10 to 12. We're talking about 12 times the speed of sound here. And obviously Western subsonic defense systems cannot cope with that. We have seen it. Israeli three-level defense system didn't even stop one. All the missiles that came through because they were too busy knocking down the drones, which was a decoy in a certain way. But they were kamikaze drones. Now, the next stage of the battle will be on the Hormuz Strait. Why did the West dare to stay clear? Because they know as soon as they put their nose in that neck of the woods, the Iranians will know in advance and they'll just blow the shit out of them. It's probably reluctant, the fact the what you would call it, the American Navy fleet is kept its distance far away, because they knew from the first experiences and skirmishes with Iranians, drones and missiles had created them a bit of damage. An F-35, one of those EWAC planes, a damaged aircraft carrier, various bases around the Middle East, in Arab countries, oil producing. They got hit. They continue to get hit, and even targets in Iraq, and then even other Western military presence, they're getting hit as well. It's a message to say to the West, back off. Don't get yourself in the middle of this war. And seeing, like I mentioned, probably the battle will be fought on that tear of Hormuz, as they probably want to make people believe it's an absolute suicide mission. And obviously, probably the Russians and the Chinese are waiting for the Americans and any allied vessel dare to come. They probably may know about this. They surely know. They want to keep it a secret, because then afterwards they have to admit West, NATO and America are using intelligence satellites upon targets in Russia, not on the battlefield in Ukraine. And more time passes, unless the ships pass through that part of the world, oil tankers, slowly, the rest of the world, beginning with Asia and the West, will begin to run out of fuel, and will lead to an economical crisis, which probably that of 1973 was a Sunday school picnic. And it's absolute suicide to go into the area by force and afterwards to be under attack by drones and missiles from every single angle and in every single direction. This could be the theatre ground of World War III. It's a fact. They just give in for the sake of the nation's economy, because, like I said, the more this thing drags on, the more it will have a hit on every Western nation. Shortages of fuel, therefore anything which is transported be more expensive, and to be very less vehicles on the road, less flights or planes. Then we'll start off rationing fuel, restrictions on travelling, probably some type of curfew, whatever. Industries have to shut down to a lack of energy to save it. You can save energy until a certain point if you don't have an autonomous source like nuclear powered, which Europe has gave up, which the Nord Stream pipeline 1 and 2, which the Germans had destroyed by the Americans, because probably the fact Germany was coming too strong economically speaking, and therefore it could compete against the Americans. They want Europe weak, the Russians out, and dome in pocket. But this thing won't last forever. Sooner or later, they'll come to a point of to take decisions which could have extreme consequences. Third World War, that's probably already in the making.